before I get into my take, how about we have an opening word from Hotep Jesus?
You know what I found out was the people who are most afraid of black people are white Democrats. Boy, that's a different type of racism. That's a whole nother type of racism. You know, they have a type of racism that goes to low expectations. You know, they treat you as if you're a child. They treat you as if you can't make decisions on your own. They treat you as if you can't go to the DMV and get you a license. They treat you as if you're impotent, as if you don't know nothing. They talk down on us just so they can pose as our saviors. They want to think for us. They want to think for black folk.
He's not wrong, by the way. It's been like that for decades now. Hence the phrase attributed to LBJ, I'll have these, you know what, voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And that was said in the 60s. More than 50 years later, we're more than a quarter of the way there, which is kind of worrying. But that savior complex is freaking strong with white liberals. Oh, colonialism was so bad. All cultures are great and equal. Except now that they're in our midst, I don't want them anywhere near me. I want them far, far away because they bring problems I don't even want to acknowledge or talk about, let alone deal with. No, I just want to look like I care in the eyes of other white people who are just as racist as I am. These are the same type who think voter ID is somehow discriminatory, that you need ID to get access to all manner of things, but for some reason presenting one when you're voting, that's a problem. Not only does that whole fiasco make white liberals look really condescending, it also makes them look incredibly stupid. You need all of 5 seconds to think on that position to come to the conclusion. That makes no sense at all. I mean, if you think they're so stupid but you believe that load of bollocks, what does that say about you? You know what's kind of funny in a screwed up sort of sense? In their own way, white liberals do make a good case for some version of segregation. Because you kind of want to ask blacks, do you guys really want to be around massively condescending and when you pull the curtains back, really, really stupid white people? Heaven's sake, we're white and even we don't want to be around them. They literally use you as either tokens to flex their virtue or as pawns in the political arena to keep themselves in power. The moment you disagree with them, they will strip you of your race and accuse you of promulgating white supremacy. You ever notice a subsection of Asians do particularly well in those countries with so-called white supremacy? Asians do white supremacy better than white people do white supremacy. It's almost like white supremacy has nothing to do with white people. It seems more to do with behavioral patterns and cultural compatibility, but again, I'm preaching to the choir here. That's ridiculous in two ways. On the one hand, they either can't learn from European people because they're intellectually inferior, even though for some reason they can learn the ways of grievance identity politics, which is also European, but that fact is never going to get acknowledged ever, or they learn and develop a sense of self-sufficiency. But they don't want them to learn those traits because the activist class would be out of work and one half of the political apparatus would lose control of a voter base. Doesn't really look good either way now, does it? You know what I always found jaw-droppingly insane? How is it that every time someone black doesn't agree with liberals, their race gets pulled into obsolescence? You ever notice that? If a black conservative does it first, it doesn't really count because they're not really black, says the black lackey doing the bidding of their white overlords. So evidently your minority race status only remains valid if you obey your white liberal overlords and adhere to the oppression narrative that they can in no way ever empirically validate. Watch them try, they'll either come off as rather patronizing or a sloganeering drone. You'll get idiots like Joy Reid come out and say, oh, Republicans do love their token blacks, conservatives only like them because they're Republicans. Yeah, and? You mean once they share similar values, the racial component dissipates, they'll become friends or will vote for that particular candidate? Explain to us, why exactly is that reprehensible? How do you think human relationships work? Yeah, it's so weird because they do the exact same thing they accuse conservatives of doing, only in reverse. They only like you because you have values X, whereas they reverse that and drop a racial angle on it as well. You are no longer black because you espouse values X. So you're only black if you agree with the white liberal, but if you agree with the white conservative, or even the black conservative, for that matter, you are no longer black. How the hell does that make any sense? Oh, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, says the racist white dude to a black guy's face, and he didn't say shit. So evidently, if that exchange is anything to go by, once you attain a certain level of political power on the left, You can be openly racist to a black guy's face, and no one on that side of the aisle will say that's kind of weird. Absolute fucking clown we live in, people. That is all for today. Thank you all for watching, and make fun of the stupid.